If you've been involved in blockchain gaming for the last year or two, then you know that at this point it's kind of a disaster. Nothing has really gone according to plan. Play to earn crash and burned, and a lot of the other dreams and promises around crypto gaming have yet to totally fulfill the promises. A lot of the experiences haven't actually come to exist yet. Where's the gameplay? Where's the assets going up? Are we down only? What's going on with crypto gaming? So with all these thoughts in mind, I was interested when I saw this report from Delphi Digital and Naavik, two of the leading firms in crypto gaming research. This guide called The Great Reset, your 2023 guide to Web3 games. Is there any hope? Are we doomed? Or is crypto gaming, blockchain gaming, Web3 gaming, games with a 3, whatever you want to call it, is it going to be okay? The big thing with this report is the idea that we are basically in the trough of disillusionment. How do you say that? I don't know. And in 2021, you were here on the peak of inflated expectations. Now today, we're somewhere deep down the downward curve. Disillusionment, promises and hopes and dreams that didn't quite come to fruition, at least not yet. So we're in this, disillusioned phase. What are some signs of this? Well, users that are active on a weekly basis, as well as transaction volume, are both down bad compared to the start of 2022. So the unique active wallets interacting with dApps. Did I say weekly? I might have said weekly. It's actually unique active wallets. I don't know if that's daily or weekly or what. But as you can see, there was upwards growth for the first half of 2022, and then, holy shit, it really falls apart. It is down very bad for the second half of the year. What I found interesting, what this graph doesn't totally say, is that while the unique wallets that are actually interacting with these games has gone down a lot, the amount of wallets that hold assets in the games hasn't gone down as much. Okay, well, I can't find it right now, but yeah, basically, like, the number of people engaging in the games has gone down a lot, but the number of people holding assets in the game hasn't gone down as much in the games in general. So while it is scary to hear that, like, oh my god, active users are down 90%, 95%, 100%, it's sometimes a matter of a game that's in very early access. If a game comes out and does a pre-alpha test or an alpha test, and 100,000 people play the game for a week, it's not necessarily a sign of failure if the game then loses 95% of its active players. It's more of basically just the game is in super early alpha, there's not that much content, and people will come back when there's the next big content update. I mean, trying to grind super early access games is a very masochistic thing. It's very not enjoyable because there's not that much content in an early access game. It could also have something to do with asset illiquidity. So if you can't sell your assets, then because there's no value anymore, no one wants to buy them, you're kind of forced to continue holding. So there could also be some forced holding as a result of low liquidity. That is also possible. That would not be as good of a sign. The second takeaway is that consolidation of Web3 gaming projects is slower than you might expect. When an industry goes from having a lot of activity and a lot of money to then, having more of a downturn and being in a worse position, it's common to see consolidation where the bigger projects, the bigger businesses buy up some of the more interesting smaller businesses. And this could be healthy from what I understand because it creates cash flow for small businesses. It lets some CEOs make exits while allowing larger groups, larger businesses to basically collect useful things and then integrate them into their core offerings. So you could have expected to see something like Sky Mavis buying up smaller projects, or other bigger studios, the studio that's making Illuvium, or the studio making games like Guild of Guardians or Ember Sword or Star Atlas, or any of these bigger, more hyped projects. We actually haven't seen a ton of consolidation that I'm aware of on the game studio level, and they talk about this in the guide. And it might be because, as much as it's not great, like, it doesn't sound very good, there's just not a lot of successful projects to buy. Like, if you're looking to consolidate, what do you buy when most games have gone down well below 10,000 active users? Like, There's not a lot of Web3 games with over 10,000 active weekly users. And that's not a huge number. So what do you buy? Where are the actual games with hundreds of thousands of people playing the actual gameplay? Not in theory, but like actually doing it day to day, really enjoying it. There's not that much to buy. Instead of that, we've seen more consolidation, in my opinion, on the platform level, with so many announcements of games going to Polygon, to Immutable X. You know, previously, before things got worse, a lot of games going to Solana. We've seen Tezos, you know, with my job at Blockborn, Tezos picking up all kinds of games and gaming projects looking to support new games. So consolidation happening probably more on that platform level. Still, it's interesting. There's not a lot of like small games getting bought up, perhaps because there's not a lot of successful games to buy, which is really interesting. I mean, if you just look at the market cap of gaming tokens, it is not looking great. I mean, this chart, oof, man. I mean, it's just like down bad, down bad. What are you gonna buy? I mean, these are the tokens. The games are doing, I think, even worse in a lot of cases, right? It's just down bad, man, down bad. By the way, token prices are going down even as the number of games goes up. So there's less money to go around and more games trying to get it. More games, less money. It's tough. What do you buy if you're trying to consolidate? It's tricky. Number 3, Metaverse Land, down even worse. Metaverse Land is probably the thing I'm most bearish on. I'm really unimpressed in the current suite of metaverses, and I'm mostly talking about Sandbox. This report also goes over Decentraland. Sandbox, I mean, I've played some of the experiences in the Sandbox. I had a PFP that got to be part of Season 2, so I was able to try some stuff out, and it's just so underwhelming. It feels like a bad Minecraft ripoff, and it's like, Minecraft's been around for 10 years. I'm not really understanding the idea that the next big thing is like another attempt at Minecraft, except with scarce land. I mean, it's what they talk about in the report is the problem of having scarce land that creators are supposed to create content for. It's the combination of user-generated content and scarce land. So they want users to create content, UGC, user-generated content, much like Super Mario Maker or something like that. However, the land is expensive and hard to get. So what incentive is there for a creator to choose Sandbox to build their experience if they don't already own land? They aren't early because the land already has gone way up and speculation has already happened. So they don't own land. Why would they choose this instead of literally loading up Minecraft? I know Minecraft has banned NFTs for now, even on private servers or what have you. That is something that can be resolved over time, but it is just, I don't think this is a thing that people want other than investors. And I just don't know, like, it's gonna have to be so much better than it is that I almost wonder if it just needs to be started from a different seed. Like, can this develop into something that commands the attention of millions of people? Or is it just a bad Minecraft knockoff that speculators are holding on to very tightly because they've already spent money? Like, I love Snoop Dogg. I'm glad he's in crypto, but I don't know, Snoop. Sandbox, I'm kind of skeptical on. I'm not gonna lie. And basically, from what I understand, all the money going into this metaverse stuff, as far as Sandbox and Decentraland, is down extraordinarily bad. Sandbox, in particular, down about 85% on floor prices, with pretty much everything else doing bad as well. I'm not familiar with all these projects. Even Other Deed for Other Side, the Bored Ape Metaverse project, that's down almost 90%. It's easy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, pointing out crypto projects that have gone down in the last year. I just personally have an extreme amount of skepticism around all the current Metaverse projects. I wouldn't be surprised if Sandbox eventually ends up being like the biggest fucking flop in the whole space. I just think it is not going to excite gamers at all. So, Metaverse stuff down really bad. Oh, this is another one that I thought interesting. Roblox is valued per user at $142 per user. Sandbox right now, $31,000 per user. Decentraland, $14,000 per user. In what world can Sandbox claim that their users are worth $200 as much as Roblox? Or like, is that sustainable? Doesn't that mean that the market cap is too high because this number seems far too high to make sense? Is every single person who plays Sandbox a fucking VC investor who's worth 10 million plus and has a family office? Like, is that the only person who plays, so that's why the value is so high? Or is this market cap valuation grossly overrated because people aren't actually playing, and realistically maybe $142 times the users would give us a more bearish valuation? I don't know. I'm so skeptical on the metaverses right now. I'm so fucking skeptical. If you haven't done it yet, you better like the video and subscribe. If you watched this far and didn't subscribe, what the heck, dude? What the heck? Oh man, there's only one thing that's more down bad than metaverses. Only one thing. And that's play-to-earn guilds. Holy shit, play-to-earn guilds are down extremely bad. At the peak of play-to-earn guilds with Yield Guild Games and a couple others, I was really confused as to what was going to happen, because my common sense as an Axie scholar for many months, and then eventually I became a very small Axie manager, and as someone who played other play-to-earn games pretty extensively, I played a lot of Splinterlands, played some Gods Unchained, grinded a lot of Lost Relics, Mir 4, and other sort of MMO-style games. I'd played so many of them. Whenever I looked at play-to-earn guilds, I was like, this is just not sustainable, right? Because, like, the guild has to buy all these assets to generate play-to-earn opportunities. Like, it just seemed like eventually the expense of the stuff the guilds had to buy was going to be way too high for them to profit on it. It was basically, play-to-earn guilds were basically the biggest manifestation of Axie managers. People who owned a bunch of Axies and lent them out to others in exchange for a cut of the profits. The problem is a cut of 0% is 0%. And if the profits turn into losses, now you're only taking 100% of the losses. There was nothing to stop these guilds from losing everything if the scholarship model failed, and as we know, the scholarship model did mostly fail, and a lot of play-to-earn has shifted to other models to whatever extent play-to-earn, play-and-earn, etc. continues to exist. So guild tokens are down extremely bad, and unfortunately, the one that was really the most exciting also has gone down the most, right? So Yield Guild Games, which was the poster child of these guilds, and they had a lot of good stuff going, and there was a lot of smart thinking and interesting ideas. They're down the worst, though, down 66% from their treasury at the all-time high as of January 1st, 2023. That's rough, bro. That is rough. It's, the report does not pull punches here. Naavik estimates that 99% of what they say is 24,000 guilds like this that exist are going to fail. So 24,000 play-to-earn guilds, and 99% of them will fail. They go on to say that the other 1% of guilds that will survive need to use their remaining funding to become something other than guilds to survive. So the report suggests that if you're a guild and you want to be one of the 1% that survives, your best way to do so is to not be a guild anymore. Ooh. So what are guilds going to do? Some of them could transform into more of like a competitive gaming focus, kind of like an esports org. Unfortunately, in traditional gaming, esports orgs are also down bad. FaZe Clan, who went public with their esports org, has famously had really bad performance. The stock has gone way down. And I believe the industry as a whole, from what I understand, is really struggling. I've seen a lot of videos of basically like, can competitive gaming orgs even exist, or is it a flawed model? Like, that whole world is really going through a transformation. And of course, there's still massive companies. I work for an esports org, so it's not like they're gone. But the idea that guilds are going to shift to competitive gaming org style, not impossible, but it's just like jumping from one burning building to another. You know, it's like you're in a burning building, Spider-Man swings in, saves you, and he tosses you into another burning building. You're still in a building that's on fire, just a different one. So what do guilds actually do? One opportunity is user acquisition. If there's some way for play-to-earn guilds to reposition themselves maybe as more like marketing agencies, it's like, look, if you have a Web3 game that needs players, we know how to incentivize players to start playing your game, and then we have the experience to help you build retention loops with enough play-to-earn or play-and-earn or competitive gaming or what have you to basically keep the retention. Like, there might be a pivot into marketing, into user acquisition. The big question is, how do these play-to-earn guilds keep their members happy, the ones who are still around, without being value extractors that actually hurt the games they join. So how can a guild basically be a source of user acquisition and user retention for games without being a value extractor that eventually kills the game? How can these guilds be value add as opposed to being seen as almost like parasites on the ecosystem? I think there's a lot of good intentions behind these guilds, but it's a very challenging model that's very hard to work out during a bull run. During the bear market, if we do see companies like Yield Guild Games and others find a path to sustainability, sorry for the camera, by the way, I gotta fix that shit. If they find a path to sustainability, maybe there's a beautiful future for some of these companies. I think there's something in the world of pivoting towards more marketing, user acquisition, and that's what the report says as well. Now, one bullish area. Okay, it's been a depressing video. I've kind of just sort of explained how this guide, this report, kind of is pointing out all the down bad aspects of crypto gaming. We know that we're suffering. We know it's a disaster. If you click the video, if you watch this far, you know as well as I do. So is there anything good at all in my notes that I'm looking at? The answer is yes. Yes, there is. There's one big opportunity, and it's actually a place that the company I work for is focused on. Shout out Blockborn. We've been building a lot of competitive gaming tools for game developers on Tezos, and that the Tezos part is what we're doing. In general, this report is kind of agreeing with that approach, which makes me pretty happy. Scroll, 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 scroll. Scroll, 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 scroll. The one thing that's not a disaster in crypto gaming, esports, competitive gaming, improving the way that competitive gaming works, especially getting the gamers paid more consistently and more fairly, and just kind of automating and making more transparent the processes around competitive gaming. This is one area that I am actually bullish on, even in the short term. So they say in here that crypto is primarily going to serve as the back-end accounting engine that facilitates ticketing payments, player NFT contracts, they say on-chain reputation, I'm not sure what that means, automated tournament smart contracts, and so on. And they continue to be excited about that model. I think this is a big one. I think automating the esports aspect and using blockchain to make it better is a big opportunity. We've seen the game Splinterlands on the Hive blockchain and on Wax do this. They have a system where basically anybody can make a sit and go, kind of like an online poker tournament, where you could say, okay, there's this many spots in the tournament, this is the prize pool, this is the rule set, this is the entry fee if there is one. You can have a token burn, so maybe a certain percent, like 1%, 5%, 10%, some percentage. It's an interesting idea that you can have all these things locked in on-chain. Players can play against each other, and then after the tournament, payments are automatic. And I think that if you have really good functional systems that let people set up tournaments with automatic payouts, prize pools funded upfront, things, on-chain, ideally the prize pool is like in escrow, in the smart contract, automatically paying out to the winners. I think there's a lot that can be done with that. And I think that if there are tools that allow games to set up competitive infrastructure, or if there's infrastructure that lets games set up, if tools make it easier for games to set up competitive experiences, which don't just have to be tournaments and sit and goes, they could also be battle passes with first to clear prizes. Imagine there's a battle pass and the first 10 people who get to the top level all get, like a little trophy or a little title, and it's like, season 0 first clear. Now you're flexing for the rest of your life, right? We've seen the game, we've seen various games do things with this. Blanco's Block Party has a lot of battle pass stuff. I think battle passes, tournaments, and other competitively oriented things, both on the sort of like high-end esports level of like top-level competitive play and the more grindy sort of day-to-day of things like battle passes and just like, grinding experience. There's a lot of room there. The report is pretty bullish on esports. It's a pretty short section, actually. Even though it's only a page, this is an area that I just heavily agree with. I think this could actually be expanded upon, and perhaps I should do some more content around improved esports monetization. It's something I've definitely thought a lot about. And to me, it's one of the most interesting things. I think in general, there's a big opportunity to reframe the idea of play to earn away from casual earnings of like just grinding every day and more towards competitive gaming. So playing to earn basically being a synonym for high-end competitive play. At the end of the day, if a game has really aggressive token sinks and gameplay loops and enough, shiny things for players to burn currency on, to flex with, and opportunities to exchange assets for fun and for flex, so that some people will whale out on the flex and then others will go for optimizing, min-maxing the earnings. There's something in there that can create a competitive gaming ecosystem that could be more sustainable and might even be called play to earn. After all, I'm going to end with a tweet from Mitch from Yield Squad and Million on Mars. Shout out, Mitch. This dead horse, play to earn sucks, play to earn is dead. I'm as guilty as anyone. We got to stop doing this. All right, everyone knows play to earn died. It's time to start asking what happens next. You know what I mean? So I like that I agree with this. I'm glad the report wasn't super focused on just like play to earn is dead. This is a much more nuanced, interesting report. And this makes me want to read more stuff from Delphi Digital and from Naavik to really level up my brain. Anyway, those are my main takeaways from the report. What did you think? I have the link to this thing in the description, so give it a glance if you haven't looked at it yet. The Great Reset, your 2023 guide to Web3 games. Really awesome job. Shout outs to Delphi Digital and Naavik. And that's it for this time. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.